I couldn't be more charged up about the opportunity that we have today. I mean, I'm always charged up to see you, Brian.
Good, good.
And we're in the charged up business, right? I mean, and you in particular have just gotten back from Detroit, and you surprised. Did you know there was a battery show, or was that a surprise to you as well? Tell us about the battery show.
So it was last week at Fully Charged when I talked to Sandy Monroe, and they said, "By the way, are you going to the battery show?" And I said, "The what now?" So I reached out and got credentials and went to the battery show. It is the World Battery Show of North America, and didn't know what to expect, and was pleasantly surprised all around.
So this was a battery show. Were we talking about C cells and double A's and things, or
So, what would your expectation be?
I would
What would you
think,
think is going to be there? What's the big draw?
I would think maybe that the future is, what do you call it? Utility-sized battery installations and/or batteries that go into homes, into factories, into government installations, into cars, and that there's about, I don't know, 5 million labs that all believe they have something breakthrough. And so all
Okay.
these labs would be there.
So that's what I was expecting. I was
Okay.
expecting miners, refiners, and miracles. We've got the next unicorn, but that's not what was there.
Oh,
What was there was hundreds and hundreds of very real companies trying to find business with other companies. Now, I wasn't able to get any interviews. Every place I asked said, I'll I'll call corporate, but I'm just going to tell you now it's a no, because that's not why we're here. We're here business to business. So one of the people I talked with has the little tabs on top of the batteries. That's what we make. That's all we make.
okay.
How many do you need and how soon do you need them? And here's samples of our product. Here's testing and calibration equipment, so you can check out and see what kind of tolerances we do.
Yes.
That's a good resource.
Yeah.
There are companies that sell. I posted a picture of a mock-up 4680 battery, and in the middle there's a little hole that goes down through it. We sell a precision welder that can go inside of a hole like that and do a weld at the bottom of it. That's what we do. Do you need them? Talk to me. There was, and it was everybody like that. A good example, and my favorite part of the battery show was there were no slick salespeople. It was all engineers. So you could go up to someone and ask them questions that may be outside of their area of expertise, and it's not that far out. They know what they're talking about. So I went to the DuPont booth. What is DuPont doing at a battery show? What do they sell? And the answer is we sell the little plastic insulators for hairpin motors. And we do it very well. So I said, I was looking at the hairpin motor. Now, a traditional copper motor is just wire, right? It's just copper wire.
Right.
But a hairpin motor, they flatten the wire, which makes it much harder to deal with, much more complicated to you can't just wind it. It's a whole new process. And I said, why hairpin at all? And the gentleman told me, it allows for more wires to fit in the same geometry. That gives you more punch, better space efficiency, better efficiency overall. And I said, why not flatten it more? Does it become too complicated to wind? And he said, boy, I don't know that. And the lady behind him stepped out and said, what was the question? Okay, I can answer that. 2-to-5 ratio. That's what you need in the geometry of a flattened copper conductor in a hairpin motor. 2-to-5. You go any wider, you might as well go back to round. And everyone there was an expert at that level. Yeah. I go up to one booth and they've got a battery tray for a car and some batteries in it, but mostly just a bunch of gel and adhesives. That's what we sell. Polymer gels and adhesives that are electrical resistant and thermally conductive, so that they can wick the heat off the battery. And no matter what your drain application, here's 30 different kinds. They can be, applied like a caulking. They can be applied. We can print them and have them ready for application by hand, and in any volume you need. What do you need? What's your product? I'm an analyst. Well, okay. So there was a booth that was representing a company that has testing equipment. Mm-hmm. So you know the filament that comes off the spool. We've seen it with the the film, the long skinny film that gets rolled up into the jelly roll. Yeah. We have high speed testing for that. Mm-hmm. And they had a sample running, and he goes, look, and he takes a piece of paper and he drops it in, and you can see it pop up on the screen, and you can zoom in, and it tells you, and it'll circle the imperfections. And this one's green because you defined it as within tolerance. Mm. This one's red because you said it's not. And we sell high speed testing. So it's amazing to see. And the show is growing so much that next year, instead of being at the Suburban Collection in Novi or wherever it was, it's going to be apparently in a bigger venue, perhaps the big convention center in Detroit, which would make it a conflict. They couldn't do it at the same time as the Detroit Auto Show.
It's possible that then the auto show would move out to the
oh gosh. Oh, that would be again marching into battle under your custom pristine white flag. Very beautiful, very brave and courageous battle flag. So it's possible. And they are growing, and there's so many people there. And when I say I couldn't get anyone on camera, I had to get some footage. So I did a summary of it where I walked around with the camera, and I'd get people in the shot, and they'd be like, well, I'm happy to do that part. I'll do that. But I'm not going to talk about the product.
So was there anybody there thinking that they had the next great, battery or the next great invention, the breakthrough?
No. There was one company had nickel metal batteries. We have 410 watt hours per kilogram. And I said, 410, that's quite good. What's the catch? And they go, it's only 500 to 800 cycles as opposed to 1,000 plus. Yes. We're not selling you a miracle. We're selling you a different use case.
Yeah.
So the stationary guys were there. The grid scale guys were there. The automotive guys, the maritime applications, they're all there. The phones, everybody. And if you can imagine a use case for it. Now, there were some places there that had, one guy was representing a company that makes 3D printed parts. Yeah. And the parts and it says AI designed parts. And you look at them and they look very alien, very organic. And what he explained is, you tell us what it needs to do. We feed that into the computer, and it tries infinite permutations to find the maximum strength to weight ratio. And what they're adding soon is secondary considerations. So for example, let's say you need a new shock tower that can handle 8,000 pounds this way, but only 500 pounds this way for crash, to be crushable.
Yes.
That's something they'll be able to design so that it can have tremendous strength in one dimension, and on the other axis, significantly less. And he said, by the way, AI, we just put that up there because it's a buzzword. It is AI, but it's not the kind people think about. and a lot of people would put like Tesla in their name, even though it's like, well, I mean, it's nothing to do. I mean, it does have batteries. I'll grant you that. The best one I found, I'm not going to say their name because I haven't finalized anything yet, is a benchmark company that does the same kind of thing that you would find from Monroe and Associates. Yeah. But they'll take it one step further and say, and help you do market research. So when they tear down a lyric, they say, okay, here's how I would change it so that people would buy it.
Yes.
So you can understand who your market is and how to approach them. And they've done a teardown of a Lucid. So I really want to get them on. And they were great because I said, who has the best battery? He goes, well, best for what?
Yeah.
Best for high drain, best for I said, well, okay, let's start here. We can agree the worst battery is the Leaf. And he said, the Leaf is the cheapest battery. Is that really the worst? I said, you know what? If you're in a temperate climate and it meets your use, you know what? No, you're right. And that was a kind of answer that I really appreciated. Yeah. And I was able they had a Taycan battery, an ID4 battery, a Lucid battery, and the BMW i3 battery. And they had them all out ripped halfway apart, covered in plastic so you don't lick them, because apparently that's zappy. They taste very spicy, I'm told. So they are a resource I hope to be able to draw on in the future.
Interesting. Very interesting. Sounds like you did have a really good time in Detroit.
Yeah. I would go back to Detroit for the battery show before I would go back for the auto show. If they happen to be overlapping or the same week, I would do both. But the battery show, I would spend 2 or 3 days at that next time, because there were so many amazing resources.
Oh.
And next year it's going to be bigger, and the tech will be a full year better.
Well, I know this is unrelated to batteries, but we've had the city of Detroit has not been on, in great times, or theoretically, but about 7-8 years ago, there was a group of entrepreneurs who went into Detroit. They said, we're going to remake the city, and we're going to just, and we're going to make it great again. Is there any evidence one way or the other in your brief visit?
So I have only been to Detroit twice, and the previous time was in May. So May or June. So I don't have a good sample size to go from. Detroit's pretty rough. When you're flying in, the houses from 100 years ago were all right next to each other.
Yeah.
When you're on approach and look out the window, you'll see those little houses are still there, but they're now 4 empty lots in between them.
Yes.
And that's, next to the airport, great. I understand that. But a lot of the city looks like that, and it's really unfortunate. The historic, what would it be, the train station, Ford bought it and is putting a lot of money into renovating it, bringing it back to its former glory, because it's a beautiful building and a big part of the city's history, and they want it preserved. So I don't know. I don't know what Detroit's future is, but I would be very hesitant to bet on it, because it is tough.
Yeah, very tough. Well, okay, Brian. Listen, if I had a list of shows that I thought I was going to be doing in the month of, what is this month? This is still September.
Who knows?
If somebody had told me, Randy, you're going to be doing a show about the battery show, I would have thought they were possibly losing it.
You would have thought that I came in with a big hot lie, like solid state is here. I saw 0 booths pushing solid state. 0. It was so real, and dare I discharge a joke like this, grounded, that yes. There was nothing but pure information, and it was wonderful.
The one thing that I've gotten out of this particular episode today, it's so clear to me now, I've made a mistake with this product. There's no battery. How could I have? I don't know. I don't get it. It should have had a battery.
Yeah, little headlights that turn on, maybe.
Brian, as always, you amaze us, and you bring us original reporting, which is hard to find in the YouTube world.
Sure is.
Okay. Thanks for being here, and to all of you out there, it's been great talking to you. If you don't mind, I do want to pitch my little device here. I have these little devices for $25. You can't believe how cool this is. Look at how thick the stainless. I mean, holy mackerel! It comes in a camo as well. It's a can opener. I mean, I'm sorry, not a can opener, a bottle opener. So you got your bottle opener here too, and it's got a magnet on the back, so you can slap it up on your fridge. I mean, is this good or what? So anyway, you just send $25 to my PayPal account. It's down in the information below. Just click on there. You can send it 20. Now, if you're out of the country, I got to charge you an extra $20 for freight. So, or if you join my Patreon, I'll give you one at the $10 level. I'll give you one for free.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.